I thought, this is just the way it is. I'm meant to just be with someone that doesn't love me. I'm meant to just have all of these dreams and hopes, but they're just never going to come true. And I grew up, my mum hurt herself too. She had a really bad work accident and she hasn't worked since I was about 8 or 9. And my mum and my stepdad, he was always worked. He's still to this day working his absolute butt off. And so I thought to make a lot of money, I had to go and work 67 hours a week, to 60 to 70 hours a week, be on my feet all the time. And it just wasn't viable for me. I had 2 massive knee surgeries and I just wasn't happening. So I started my business, had no idea what I was doing. And I ended up, I think for a long time, I just needed the belief from other people because I had no belief in myself. I was with this person that was abusing me every single day. And so it took me almost a year to just build that confidence up to be like, this isn't happening anymore. Like, I'm done. I don't know how I'm going to leave, but I'm leaving. I'm going. And my parents gave me $1,000. I packed my car and I left, and it took me a very long time. And I wish you guys, I don't know how many of you guys are newbies, but if you are not doing personal development, I wish I knew that stuff when I was 16 years old in the counselor's office every lunchtime, because I thought that I was so messed up that I was the only one. And I just really, really wish that I had have picked up a book so much sooner, because I think I would have got a lot further than it took me. I went diamond in 4 years. So my story is a little bit different to everybody else's, but I want you guys to know too that it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get where you want to be. I knew when I started this that the quitting was off the table. I didn't care how long it took me, that I was going to make something of myself. And so for so long when I was younger, I got told that I was loud. No one cared what I had to say. I overshared. And now we basically get paid to do this. So I've been in a little bit over 4.5 years. I paid off all of my debt. I lost my job in September and wasn't really in my plans, but I was like, well, I'm making more money from my phone right now than I am sitting at this job, so what the heck. And so 5 more weeks and I'll be waking up in my van. It's been a dream for like 10 years. I worked in a fish and chip shop and I was like, how can I make money on the road? All these people are coming in their bikinis and I'm cooking their fish and chips. Like, I want to do that. And I never really understood how I could do it. So I bought this van 6 years ago. I couldn't even afford it. I've never been anywhere in it. And my lease runs out in 5 weeks. And I said to my partner, I was like, this is it. Like, this is time to go. We've built the van out. I just want to pack my stuff and leave now. But obviously I can't just do that. So I'm going to start traveling full time all around everywhere. And our team and I are pushing for double in the next couple of months. So I'm excited.
That is so awesome. Yeah, I've always loved your story. So what month and year did you start?
I started October of 2016.
Oh, I think I started before you. I thought, for some reason, you had been in like a long time before I was in. You just always seemed like you knew what you were doing. And so I just assumed that you were not new. I think you were just a lot more, what do they call it? Ignorance on fire. Like, you were putting it out there and learning as you go more than some of us were. For someone who's brand new, just coming into this business, what would be one of your biggest tips as far as sharing their story? Because stories are huge right now.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was I was like, well, I haven't paid off a ton of debt. I don't have all these kids that I get to be home with. I haven't bought this brand new house, but I had hope. Like, this business gave me so much hope, you guys. Like, I was like, I'm not going to have to be in debt for the rest of my life. I actually have people that care about me. And so it's all of these little wins. And so if you're talking to someone about a product or about the business, I actually shared this the other day and I got way more like attraction to it than what I thought I did. And I just said, like, I talked to 3 girls who are young mums and all they want to do is provide a life for their family with their baby in their arms. And we're able to do this because it's right from their phone. And so that's showing people that you are talking to people. I think the biggest thing that I've found with a lot of people that I talk to about this business, nobody's going to be interested. I don't think that I'm going to be able to sell anything. And I break it down to them how simple this is because they do it on social media anyway. All of your friends are going to get their hair done at a good hairstylist. And they're posting it on Facebook and their friends are going to spend $200 to get their hair done, but that hairstylist didn't pay you to advertise for her. So when I break it down to people like that, it makes it so much easier. But just sharing that you're talking to people, sharing like where you're going. You don't have to make $5,000 a month to be able to put fuel in your car or buy nappies or, you know, any little thing, pay for a date night, whatever it is, sharing all of those little wins, because they're things that people can relate to. People can't relate to going and buying a $30,000 car or buying $1 million home. They want to know how you can feed your babies all the time and continue to go on holidays and pay your bills on time.
Yep. And for y'all who are not in Australia, nappies are diapers. For a long time, every time I would hear Mandy talk, I was like, what is she talking about buying napkins? I don't understand why is it a big deal to buy napkins? And I was like, wait, I don't think that's what she's saying. So diapers. And also you can tell your story without talking at all about the money. You can, day one, talk about how you are working, or actually, I guess this is talking about the money, but talk about how you are working on a $50 bonus from Facebook. That's all you have to say. Talk about how I'm so thankful that I can sit here and play with my kid and still have a way to earn an income without clocking in and clocking out somewhere. Like, you don't have to have earned any money in order to tell a story with this of where you're going. Does anyone have any other questions for Mandy? And then when we get other questions in the chat, we can always come back as well. Once we get all of our stories out of the way, but I don't see any yet. So I will, don't have to tell the in between. Yep, exactly. So I will tell a little bit of my story, and the three of us, we have very drastically different stories. And that's one thing I like about this business. I just saw April in her stories, I think yesterday, talk about how, she has like all different walks of life. So we have like a full-time attorney on our team, and we have full-time teachers, and we have stay-at-home moms, and we have, you know, part-time bartenders. Like, every walk of life can do this. And I think that's something that for me, for a long time, I didn't share my story, because my story was not from a place of had, you know, thousands of dollars in debt, and I couldn't pay my bills, and like I felt like I didn't really have a good story to share, because bringing in an extra $500 to even $1,000 a month did not change our circumstances really at all. Brett and I found this business, actually. We were already, well, I was graduated from college. He went to college enough where he should have graduated, but doesn't actually have a diploma. Long story, but we both went to college for a lot of years. So I was graduated. I had already, I have a teaching degree. I love teaching. I already pivoted from teaching. It was just a lot of more about like the paperwork and politics and stuff than it was about the kids. Let me make sure everyone's muted.
Ready yet? It isn't.
So. All right. So it's a lot more just crap, I think, than I thought it was going to be. I was a little bit more green around the gills when I thought of teaching. Like, I was going to change all these lives, and I was going to be like, you know, these kids were I was just going to see light bulbs come on. And you see a little bit of that, but in the public school system, you don't see near as much as you think you're going to see. A lot of it is about deadlines and state testing and funding and all that crap. So I had already pivoted. I started working in a marketing firm for Kirby vacuum cleaners. I don't know if any of y'all ever heard of the Kirby vacuum cleaner. It's like a $2,000 vacuum. And I love them. I have one in my closet. Like, I will never buy a different kind of vacuum, but it was not something that was really like fulfilling a passion of mine, but it did bring in really good money. So I already had money. Like, the girl I saw posting about this was talking about how she was making $6,000 from her phone. Immediately, I was like, you're full of crap. There's no way that you're making that kind of money when you're you're just sitting on your phone. And she very much downplayed it of like, I don't really work and I just hang out with my kids all day. And so that's one reason that I do not post like that. Like, I purposely show people the work behind it, because I don't want them to think I'm full of crap. I also don't tell people that I make $6,000 a month from my phone, because it doesn't seem realistic either. I'm not saying it's not. Like, I know lots of people that make way more than that from their phone, from doing it works, but it doesn't seem very realistic. So I was that person that, like, for 2 years, I told her no. For 2 years, she spammed the crap out of me. We laughed because at one point I blocked her, and she started messaging my husband. And again, we all went to school together, so it was a little bit different, but we had not talked to each other for, at this point, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years. when she started talking to us about the business. So it wasn't like she was really good friends with us and was messaging my husband. It was just one day my husband's like, why is so-and-so messaging me about these wraps? I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I blocked her. She's messaging you. But I would have never joined had she not been super, super, super persistent. Yeah, Savannah and I were messaged by the same person. I joined under her. Savannah didn't. Savannah ended up joining under me a little bit later, which is a whole nother story. We didn't know this at the time, but we found out like a year after Savannah joined me. So all that to say, I watched her. I even commented on her before and afters, not of herself, but like the corporate ones that she would put. Oh, you can tell that that's photoshopped. I was a witch with a capital B. I was a mean girl back then. I've been a mean girl my entire life until this business. I was not a very nice person. But I was the person that like, you never would have seen me in network marketing. I was way too good for it, even though I wasn't. Like, we had good jobs and we had decent paychecks, but we still didn't have anything in the bank to brag about. You know, we were those people that like, you look like you had it together on the outside, but on the inside, like, you're one disaster away from losing everything. Most people, I think, are like that. I don't know many people that have 10,000 plus in their savings account to where if something really did happen, like, you got a month or two and you're done. So, and I think people tend to not realize that that is the norm for a lot of people. Like, very few people could withstand losing their job for the next 6 months to a year and still be okay, regardless what they have now. And that's what It Works can provide if you do it before you absolutely need to do it for the income. So long story short, or shorter because it was already long. We had my daughter, had never planned on having kids. I wasn't supposed to be able to have kids. We had my daughter, we put her in daycare, which was like the norm. Everyone does that. And I hated it. I hated every minute of it. And I just wanted to find some way to be able to work less hours at my job because I was working like a lot. And I just wanted to be able to take off Saturdays. So that's where It Works came in. Eventually I was able to replace my income, take off weekends. And then eventually it snowballed into, okay, I'm going to do this full time. My husband and I talked about it. I had to reach a certain amount of income before I was able to let go of my job. So the first year of this business kind of sucked. Like, I worked a lot because I was working full time plus working full time. And I was a new mom and didn't know what I was doing. So that also sucked. But it was just a lot of sucking, if I'm being honest. 5 years later, though, if I look back, like, I would do that over again to have what I have now. And again, I talked about this the other day on a live. When I was able to quit my job and do this full time, we were only making like $2,500 a month with It Works. That is not life-changing money in the respect of like, oh, look, I'm a millionaire. But it is life-changing money in the respect of, hey, I can now work 100% with my kid from my house. We don't have any more money in our bank account. We're about even at that point. But now I have a whole bunch of extra time because I was working less hours with It Works to get the same amount of money I was working at the other job. So also keep that in mind. Most people, not all, most people aren't making more than $3,500, $4,000 a month in their job. I get there are a few exceptions out there, but people that we talk to in everyday life, like most of my friends that I know that have jobs, they're not making a whole lot more than $40,000, $50,000 a year usually. So that's what, a really strong diamond or a double diamond. Like, you don't need ambassador money to change your life at that point. You just need a stable full-time income, which this business can provide pretty easily if you just do the work. So that's kind of my story. Like I said, it's not one that is crazy rags to riches, but I always tell people that 100% is life-changing for me, or was life-changing for me, because it allowed me to be home with my munchkin. I saw a couple questions in here. Did you have pushback from friends or family? And if so, how'd you deal? Yeah, because a lot of my friends and family already had migrated through It Works, because the Bible college that we all went to, it spread like wildfire with some of the girls that graduated, and they didn't work it in a way that was appealing. They were the ones that were messaging, and then when you get blocked, you'd message the person's husband. That's the way they were working it. So all my friends and family that were associated, okay, my family was like broke as a joke you know, I don't come from anything. We come from a very bad background. They weren't buying nothing from me. It didn't matter if they liked the products or not. Like, if it didn't come from a dollar store, they weren't buying it. So Brett's family had money and they had been burned by network marketing before. So we got some pushback from his family of like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme and you'll never make any money and blah, blah, blah. But we knew, like, our families we weren't going to try to market to. So that wasn't a huge deal. My friends on Facebook, those were the ones that I was like, okay, I don't care that so-and-so did it and did it wrong. Like, I'm trying to do it better. So yeah, we had a lot of pushback, and that's when Host to Post, I think, was like December 2016, maybe 2017. I don't remember. But before then, it was like message 200 people a day. And Savannah remembers this because I don't know how she didn't quit my team. I was one of the people that, I'm not going to say her name, but one of the high up uplines I had become good friends with because I worked my butt off. And she was always like, message 200 people, message 200 people, message, like, we would message through our Facebook friends list every single month. That's how I got to Diamond. Now I got there, but I would not do that again. Host to Post is like the bread and butter of the business. So when Host to Post came and I could stop spamming all my friends and family, it was like a breath of fresh air. And I've started enrolling 50, 60, 70 customers a month continue consistently. Now, a whole nother story for another time. I won't go into it. I also wasn't leading my team. Like, my distributors were dropping as fast as I was recruiting them. So being a mass enroller, if you can't keep up with everything and you're not giving time into your distributors, is not all it's cracked up to be. Like, I wouldn't go back to being a mass enroller for anything because I wasn't leading my team. Now I'm not a mass enroller. I enroll like 20, 25 customers a month in like 8 or 10 distributors. But I have a lot more consistency in my business with my entire team winning, not just me making money, than I did when I was mass enrolling people. So a whole nother story, but yeah, I got a lot of pushback. And then I didn't do it. Yeah, Savannah, I know you didn't do it. She would flat out be like, okay. And then like she wouldn't message people. And I don't blame you. For my newbies, did you ever have a moment of doubt and fear? Feel like you did a pullback? Girl, I have moments of doubt and fear every week still. I can't tell you, every single time that I feel like I am not enrolling like I want to be enrolling, I have the moment of like, am I a one-hit wonder? Like, is this too good to be true? Because you read it all the time. You hear it all the time. Like, someone on Facebook is always talking about how they did network marketing and didn't make any money. I talk to enough people every day that I still get people that will randomly send me videos when I message them. Oh, this person, this is a triple diamond with your company, and this is why she left. And I usually do watch the video just to like clear my mind of, okay, she said that she was the only one on her team making money. If you're a triple diamond and no one under you is making money, you're not doing a good job. So, okay, that's not me. Pass. She says things like, well, I was on my phone 24/7. Okay, clearly you didn't know how to manage your time, or someone was pressuring you to do that. Again, not me. Next. So that's why it's really important also to feed your mind. Like, I read every single day. I listen to podcasts. I journal. I don't know. I don't think there is really any way to not have doubt. I think you're going to have doubt. I think you just have to have enough logic to realize, okay, the doubt comes, the doubt goes, put action to it. Like, sit down, do your action steps. And that doubt ends up turning into somebody signing with you and you're back on top of the world again. All right, let me see if there's any other questions. Roughly how many people do you talk to? Or do you think you talk to? I don't think. I literally track this. My goal, now again, it does fluctuate. Obviously, I have lazy moments like everyone else, but is asking 25 people to host every day, talking to 25 people about the products and 25 people about distributors. But typically by the time I'm done checking in with my Host to Post and doing my 2-day follow-ups, those numbers are typically hit. If I need any more, then I will go and I'll message a few people on my friends list. But I can tell you I never message more than 25 people a day, just straight messaging, because I don't need to. Now, if Host to Post went away, knowing what I know now, like I said, I don't ever want to go get another job. I'm just going to tell you straight, I will never be employed by somebody else. I like the freedom that this brings. I would message people before I would let this go. But just knowing marketing and knowing what I know about marketing, like even if we pivot a little on host to post, which we've already done multiple times as a company, like there's no reason host to post would go away unless, I mean, the internet got shut down, and in the world we live in, I don't think that's going to happen. So I don't think the world can live without internet. So, okay, Chelsea, I'm going to have you tell your story. And then if you guys have other questions for either me or Mandy or Chelsea, either one, put them in the chat. And once you tell your story, Chelsea, if you want to answer those same 2 questions, because I'm sure my team would like to hear from someone else. And then Mandy, I'm going to swing back to you and have you answer them as well. Of the question about doubt and fear and what you do to get over it. And then getting pushback from friends and family. Because I think those are valid questions that a lot of us have when we start.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I'm Chelsea Sear. I've been with the company for about 3 years now, and I believe that I started after Tanya and Mandy. And it's a really funny story how we all 3 kind of connected and clicked with things. We were actually, I know Tanya was enrolled by someone who enrolled the person who enrolled me, and then I was enrolled by that person. And same with Mandy. Mandy was like, enrolled. So we're on 3 different legs. We're like sideline sisters. But the weird thing about this, okay, is that I feel like I am a part of like I'm similar to Mandy in certain ways, and I'm similar to Tanya in certain ways. And so I'm actually like a red yellow mixture. So I feel like I get that red side from Tanya and then like the yellow from Mandy. And so I think
awesome.
that's why I click with both of them a lot. And at first it's really weird because my yellow side was a lot, like, I feel like it was a lot bigger than my red side. And so when I first met Tanya for the first time, I was actually afraid of her. And you might not have known it. You might not have known that. You might get that all the freaking time. I don't know.
I do get that all the time. Ask Savannah on my team. She told me that too. When we were in college, She was scared of me.
Strong personalities, right? That's just how it is. So, I mean, own it, girl, own it. So anyways, I started about 3 years ago, and I actually started in the most broken time of my life. I know that both these ladies know my story. But I started in this point of my life where I was a mom of a 3-year-old little girl. My daughter's name is Bailey. So I'm going to talk about her like Bailey, you know. And she was actually in daycare at the time. I was working 2 jobs as a, I got a notification. Sorry. So I was working 2 jobs as a CRMA, actually. Do I have anybody on here from the medical field or anything like that? Drop a 1 in the chat if you have ever been there before. I know a lot of my girls are from there because you attract who you are, right? So I talk about that all the time. So I get a lot of girls like that on my team. And they, in that field, it's almost like they work you like a dog. You are really overworked and very underpaid. And I felt like this was this consistent cycle for 7 years straight. And I was overworked so much that I never was able to give time to my daughter. I was never able to give time to my man. And so not only did my relationship with him struggle, but my relationship with my daughter struggled too. I actually missed out on her walking for the first time, her talking for the first time, her saying, "Mommy, Daddy." I literally missed her, you know, eating solid foods for the first time because she was at the babysitter when she did that. I'm not kidding when I say I worked over 80 hours a week. It was absolutely crazy. And that was the red side of me because I just wanted the money so freaking bad. And I knew what that money was going to do for me. In the meantime, I had a poor money mindset. And so I slipped backwards in my bills. It took just one event of having a horrible pregnancy with her to kind of throw me for a loop. And all of a sudden we were in debt for like 3 years straight. And I struggled really, really bad with not only that, but I went through postpartum depression that I didn't know about. And so I actually started self-medicating about 2 years into her being alive. And I started going to the tavern and drinking. And, you know, anytime that I had off from that 80 hours a week, I felt like, do I even deserve her time? You know, like, do I even deserve to be her mom? Like, is it even worth it for me to show up? Because she's doing so much better with her dad. And I could cry just saying it because it just makes me feel like, you know, That's how it used to be. And it's not like that anymore. I actually got started after watching my enroller for an entire year. I used to work with her at a call center, and I didn't really care for her all that much. I'm not going to lie to you guys, right from the start. And she just wasn't my person, you know, but she flashed that money in front of me. She had posted on Facebook about her going for a $10,000 bonus and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, what is this? Right. I started questioning her, and she followed up with me more than 50 times actually. And I watched her Facebook. She was paying for diapers, taking her man out on trips. I didn't know what was going on in her life, but I was like, I kind of want a piece of the pie. So I almost stalked her for a long time. And I even did this while I was at the tavern sometimes on my cell phone. Like, I'm dead serious. It was crazy. And then finally we, you know, just, I say crap hits the fan. I feel like right before your life changes, it always happens like that, right? Where something just horrible happens. Matt actually went to the courthouse and filed custody for my daughter and was about to take her away from me. And I messaged this girl and I said, girl, like, my life is, you know, falling apart. I need something, and I need something now. I need to change my life. I need to be home with her. I need to be able to prove that I can take care of her. And I was willing to do anything. So I said yes about 3 years ago. And within my first 6 months, I hit Ruby. But just like Tanya said, I was a very fast enroller. There were some months where I was enrolling 60 distributors at a time. And it was just because I was doing the same thing. I was throwing money out there saying, this is what I can get for you. But I did not train my distributors. And this was one of the biggest things that I made a mistake of when I first started. And so I ruined a lot of friendships. And so even though the fast start bonuses were pouring in because I was money driven, I was money hungry because I wanted it so bad, that money came just as quickly as, you know, it left just as quickly as it came. And so I had to make the decision about a year afterwards. I had hit diamond, and my diamond fell apart like very, very, very fast. It was because I actually walked all over someone to get them to emerald, and I promoted them myself. And biggest mistake of my life. I ruined that relationship, and not biggest mistake of my life, but you get what I'm saying? It was a big mistake in our business. And so I made the decision from there on out that I would never do that again. And I started working really intentionally with my girls on my team, and I built relationships. And now I can say that like the girls on my team are like my best friends. I don't have any other friends that are as close as they are. I don't have any friends anyways, but you get what I'm saying? This business is like my life, and these girls on my team are my life, and they're like family to me now. And before I started this business, I didn't have any real friends like that. And so being so intentional with the way that you train your team is just one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give you, in building those relationships. Even if you're like me and you're super red and you don't really care for people, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Right. And so, and I promise you, if you're just yourself on Facebook, you're going to end up, you know, attracting those people who are just like you. I attract girls who are just like me, and I don't know it until I meet them. So anyways, back to my story. Sorry guys. I kind of go off on a tangent sometimes, but so we're 3 years in now. We're going for double diamond this month. It's really freaking exciting. This business has literally done so much for our family. I'm a mom, a full-time stay-at-home mom now. My daughter and me have the best relationship we've ever had. She actually, I think, would rather go to me than her dad. Sometimes don't tell him that. But I now have a 1-year-old son. This is something that I wouldn't have been able to do if it wasn't for this business. My fiance and I wouldn't even be together if it wasn't for this business. And we wouldn't have been able to afford to have him. So if there's any other thing that you want to ask me about my story, you guys can feel free for it to do that. I'm going to go in the chat because I already forgot those questions, Tanya.
That's okay. And I love it while she's looking in the chat. You talked about how your enroller talked about all the money. She wasn't making any money. I knew her when she was in the business. And I knew the rank that she hit, but also that she wasn't ever making the average. Like, she never made it past emerald, and she never made the emerald average. So you joined for all the money that she was talking about when she wasn't making any money. So she either told her story really well, because I didn't see her post. So she may have been talking about what she was going to get, which is perfectly fine. Or she lied. I don't know which one, because I've seen some girls do both. So hopefully she didn't lie. But again, if you're new, talk about where you're going. You don't have to have a lot of money to attract the Chelsea into your team.
Yeah. Yep. So she actually, I think that it was a lot of fibbing that was going on. And I was also told that it was going to be easy. And so just like Tanya said, you don't want to sit there and say that, you know, you're going to come in and it's so easy and like you can make millions of dollars in a month, because that's just not true. And we all know that. It's a business. You have to work it. You have to stay consistent with it. So I do put out there, and anybody who follows my Facebook, you see that I talk about the hard work. I legit talk about the times where I fell in this business. I talk about, you know, the struggle and mindset and how much I'm growing. And I go live and I talk about things I'm learning and all these different things, right? There's a reason why people like Ashley Mayfield or, you know, Jade Hooper go on live and they talk about what it's like being in this business. It's because they're looking to attract those types of people who are willing to put in that same type of work. You know what I mean? So yeah,
you want to attract workers, not people that want the lottery.
Absolutely. And if you go on Facebook and you talk about how easy it is, or if someone asks you like, what is it like, you know, being in the business, and you sugarcoat it and you say, you know, oh, it's easy. It's a piece of cake. It's a walk in the park. You know, you're kind of catfishing them. And what's going to happen is that they're going to get in and then they're going to say, you know, well, you told me it was going to be this and you told me it was going to be that. And it's not that. And they're going to quit with you. So do you want to attract someone and take a little bit more time, like putting the effort to telling someone that it's hard work? Or do you want to attract people who are going to quit just as fast as they got in, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's great.
The question, did you find the questions in the chat or not? Because I have
Yep,
them.
I found them. Can you, I don't know if you guys can see me at the same time. Can you see me or no?
We can see you, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm just going to read it off and I'm just going to go with it. So the first question I see on here is, did you have pushback from your friends and family? And if so, how did you deal? Okay. So this is really funny because my sister, was like, she's always been my biggest, I don't know how to describe her. She just always had this like underlying jealousy. You know, we were, even when we were kids, we're sisters. That's like normal. Right. And so, this was like a huge thing when we were growing up. And so when I first started with this business, it was something that was outside of her comfort zone. And I understand this now, but I didn't understand it back then. And so she looked at me right in the face and said, so when are you going to go get a real job anyways? And I looked at her and I said, listen, this is a business. This is not a real job, like job. This is a business. And you're not going to be saying that when I'm making way more money than you do. Right. And so along the way, yeah, my sister and my family in general, they kind of distanced themselves from me. And I, you know, my family is very toxic to begin with. And so getting started with this business didn't really change anything. If anything, it gave me clarity of who they are and what they're about. And so, you know, we see each other maybe on Christmas. This year, we're just spending Christmas Eve there, not even Christmas Day, because I've just learned so much about myself. And when you find your self-worth and you find what you're really fighting for in your life, it doesn't matter who it is that gives you pushback. It matters where you're going, and you're going to learn how to focus on that. And that's what I've done. I've gotten pushback from all my family, all my friends. When Matt came home full time for the first time, his family looked at him like, are you crazy? And it's because they're blue collar, you know, they're so used to working the 9-to-5 jobs, and you put your blood, sweat, and tear into working for a boss. And that was just like their normal. So when he said that he was coming home, they didn't get it until they started seeing that we were, you know, we made it 6 months, you know, paying all of our bills on time, didn't have to ask for help. Then they saw us do it a year, and then they saw us do it 2 years in, and then now 3 years in, they see us doing it, and it's all coming from our business. So it's pretty cool how that works. And my sister doesn't say anything to me anymore. In fact, she stalks my lives. So
I think some people don't realize that you can see when they get on your lives. Because I have a family member that talks trash about this business, but she's always in my stories and she's always on my live, but she doesn't like her comment on anything.
Yep. They watch you. And the crazy part is that if people are giving you pushback, it has nothing to really do about you. It has to do with their mindset and their comfort zone. I don't know if anybody's ever read The Dream Giver here. I know my entire team pretty much has. And that book is it was so eye-opening for me to realize that no matter what level you get to, there's always another dragon that you have to slay. And you just have to understand that the people who are trying to hold you back, it's not that they don't love you. It's not that they don't, care or whatever, or want to see you go forward. Sometimes it's just because they're nervous and it's outside of their comfort zone. That's not something that they would ever do,
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and answer. I think it's, my own question. Did you ever have any moments of doubt and fear? If you did, what do you feel like, or what do you feel like you did to pull you back to being excited for your business? Okay. Did you have a question?
No, I'm going to mute everyone again. So unmute yourself.
Okay.
I think someone unmuted on accident.
Okay. That's fine. Hopefully I can find that last question, or if you can find it, that'd be awesome.
Do you have any doubt or fear? If you had doubt and fear, how did you fix it basically?
Okay, cool. So I literally just had fear and doubt this morning. This is something that you never, ever get rid of. This is something that you will always have. I am going to be a double diamond leader this month. That's so scary to say, right? That's terrifying to say. But when it comes down to it, that's never going to go away. So I had to make the decision this morning, even though, my dog got sprayed by a skunk and my kids were absolutely crazy. And we struggled with parts for my Jeep and it broke down again. And all these things are going on, right? I still had to make the decision to show up and keep going, because that's where courage comes in, right? And you'll know more about that when you read The Dream Giver. That's a huge thing that I carry with me now, is, just being afraid and doing it anyways. So I focus on my reason why I'm here. And a lot of the times I take baby steps towards it. So a lot of the times when I feel that fear, I just write down what I need to do. So I know what I need to do. You know what you need to do. Everyone knows what they need to do, right? In this business, what the steps are every single day. You need to get your 10 to 30 posts out a day. You know that if you're going to make it happen, you need to write down how many loyal customers you need. You need to write those things down. Sometimes I even number them, and I'll put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if I want to get 6 that day or whatever. And I just write it down, and then I focus on that so much. And I say, okay, like, I'm going to make this happen. I'm not going to go to sleep until I do it. I'm scared. That feeling is right in my core, guys. I'm dead serious. Going double diamond is super scary, but I'm just doing it anyways, because I'm focusing on what that big paycheck is going to do for our family. We're building an addition on our house right now. Okay. That is like, it's a huge project, that takes a lot of money. And so the only way I'm going to make that happen is if I hit double diamond. So that's what I'm focusing on, is there is no plan B. This is my plan A and B, like, this is the only way I'm going to make
A through Z.
Yeah, exactly. A through Z. And so you had said something that just clicked with me, and I forgot what it was already. I've got like the mom brain, something wicked. So when it comes down to it, you can be a little crazy. You can be a little fearful. I literally have anxiety like nobody's business. I was diagnosed with like PTSD when I was 18 years old and all the above, and I'm still going. So you're going to have those fears, and you just have to feel it. It's going to burn. It's going to feel like you want to run away, like you want to crawl in a corner and hide, but you have to say no. You have to stand up to it and say, no, it's not happening. Not today. I'm going to make this happen.
And that kind of ties into the question that's in the chat is, do you ever have any days where things aren't working and aren't clicking and you just have to power through anyways? And then I want to add on to that. Do you have days that aren't clicking that you don't power through? And how do you feel after that? Because to show our human side to all of y'all, we all have days where we don't do what we're supposed to do. I had a day last week where I was feeling not like, mindset just wasn't there. I wasn't feeling bad, like sick. I just was crappy mindset. And I didn't power through. I laid on the couch and watched like 5 hours of TV. And then I got up and I went to church, and I regretted it immediately when I got home, pretty much. I was like, I haven't done anything. So don't think that we don't have bad days. I think we just have fewer of them because we've learned to power through, like you said. So if you can elaborate that for a minute and just, again, we're all human, but I think all of us would say, yeah, we have days where we have to power through and we don't want to work.
Yeah. Just like I actually got that from Jade Hooper, where, she said on her video one time that she doesn't feel like she wants to work every single day. And I say this to my team all the time. I don't feel like I want to hear people say no to me 15 million times a day, right? That's not something I wake up today and say, yeah, I'm going to get 500 no's, right? But I do it anyways. And so to answer your question, your first question that you had, usually, you know, like having a bad day, like today, for example, right? I had a really bad day today. Ask my team. I was in the chat saying, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. And the reason why I did that was not to, you know, complain. It was that I wanted them to see that, you know, sometimes your days are really freaking hard. But if you sit down and you say, okay, well, what do I really want? And you have it all over your house, what you want, and you know, where you want to go and stuff like that. I see my addition every single day when I look out the window, like it's literally wide open. Right. But not only that, I have it all over my house. So I have a dream board in my kitchen, and I have, you know, a whiteboard in my kitchen that I have the number of how many orders we need for the rest of the month. So I'm constantly walking by that all the time, every single day. And a lot of the times you just have to look at your why, you know, and that's really, for me, at least, that's really what gets me is if your why isn't enough to make you feel like, man, like I really dropped the ball on that one, then it's not big enough. Right? You have to dream bigger. And there's a reason why I talk with my kids about where we're going in this business. That's like a huge leverage for me. My kids are my life. And if you're a mom, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I tell my friends, I tell the people who are really, really close to me so that they can hold me accountable. So Bailey knows we're going double diamond this month. She knows she's getting a new bedroom. She knows brother's getting a new bedroom. She knows all of it. So she's constantly coming to me, telling me like, this is what I want for the color, mom. This is what I want to do for this. And it's like, it's firing me up. It's like making me feel like I need to do it anyways. I don't care if I have to stay up a little bit later than I normally would, or wake up a little bit earlier than I normally would, just to get it done, because she's on my mind constantly. I started this business for her, and I'm still going for her, you know, and I'm still doing the things that I have to do, and not just doing it to get the money for her, but to inspire her to be the woman that I wish that I could have been right from the start, you know, and I want her to be that. And so the only way that she can see that is if I do it too. And then your last question, you said, do you ever have days where you just don't power through? I did when I started a lot, like, I mean, all the time. And especially when I was pregnant with Bo, I had a really, really rough pregnancy with him. And there were days where I just kind of, you know, kicked back and I was like, man, I'm just so nauseous. I'm so sick. I feel like I was having problems with my bottom half. I couldn't even walk. Matt had to actually literally carry me to the bathroom sometimes. And so there were some days, where I slept all day long. And I did kick myself in the butt at the end of it because I lost rank. And after I lost rank, I didn't say, well, woe is me, this company doesn't work. This doesn't work, right? I looked at myself like a lot of people do, right? I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, girl, the reason why it didn't work was because you didn't work. You didn't do the things. And for the last 6 months, it compounded into what you've got going on right now. And so I had to make the decision, and I had done this before, and it's so crazy because starting with no leader, guys, actually makes you way stronger than starting with a leader. Okay. And I think all three of us kind of got that going on. And when you have to start from the bottom by yourself and you're lonely and you're like, I don't know, I don't have a team and all these things are going on, right? You got to be the one to build your team. I know it's a little off topic, but you got to be the one to build your team and like envision what you want your team to look like and write that stuff down. And, but yeah, I hope I answered your question.
No, you did. And then to jump on that, you also have to be the one to train your team, because there's no one going behind you, making sure you're not running your people off. I rebuilt my diamond. This is number 3. And finally, it's like really, really strong. To the point of like, and I tell people all the time, we've had checks that have been double diamond and close to triple diamond because my team is so strong. But I had to rebuild it. That like I would freaking be presidential by now had I not had to keep rebuilding, because no one was coming behind me like, hey, I see the way you're leading them. This is great, but let's change this. Like, maybe don't tell the people that they're lazy. Maybe don't tell the people if they don't want to do it exactly how you do it, that you're not going to train them. Like, we had to fail forward a lot in our team. And I know you guys both did too, because same situation. I'm going to head to Mandy and ask the same questions, and then we're going to hop off because I wanted this to not be more than an hour and a half, and we're coming up on an hour and a half, but that's okay. Because I felt like this was a good, like we haven't done this in a while. So is there one thing that you would tell somebody who says, hey, I'm in the business, I'm doing all the things, but I'm still not enrolling? Because I know I'm not the only one that has gotten that from teammates.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you're not doing everything. Like, straight up point blank, like if you are doing everything, and it's not, I don't mean that as in like you've been doing it one, like if you send the messages and send the follow-ups and do the things, you can't just do it for one day. And I talk about this, I go live about it on my Facebook page, because it's just like going to the gym. It's just like eating healthy. You're not going to get a six-pack from going to the gym in 1 week. You got to keep going. And then if you stop, you're probably going to lose it. So you're going to have to keep going, right? And it's the same as eating well and doing all of the things, building a relationship with someone. You can't just like build this relationship with someone and then stop trying and expect it to still be like superb, right? You have to keep working on it every single day. So it's, the thing is, I went live in my team page about this the other day, having a microwave mindset of being like, well, we're so used to having a job where we go to work and we get a paycheck in Australia, we usually get paid every week. But you get paid at the end of the week and that's it. That's all you have to do. Whereas this compounds over time, and I've been talking to my team a lot about this, but if you're doing the work continuously over and over and over again, and the other thing too is like you have to kind of shift and adjust. When TikTok come out, I was like, I cannot dance to save my life. I'm not funny. You know, I don't look like some beach body girl, whatever. I don't have 4 kids to make me look cute in the pictures, but I can point to things. And I can show my life because that's what people can relate to. At the end of the day, people want to relate to you. So sharing all of those kinds of things. And the other thing I want to talk on too is because Tonya and Chelsea both have kids and I don't. And I let that hold me back for a very, very long time. Comparison is the thief of joy, you guys, and it ripped it away from me. I thought, why am I here? What am I doing? I don't have these kids to provide this life for. And it took me out for a long time. And I want you guys to know that it doesn't matter if you've got kids or not. You have a goal, whatever it is, whether you want to travel or you want to start your own other company, you want to start a foundation, you want to write a book. It does not matter what it is. It doesn't matter that. I think for a lot of us, we think that, oh, well, we don't have kids, so wanting to start another business or wanting to build a house, it's not as good as having kids and all of these kinds of things. And that's so not the case at all. Wanting to travel, you guys, was huge for me, like so big. And I've had lots of people come to me and say, oh my God, I think you're crazy, but I don't care. This is going into like Lisa's question about, did you have pushback and how do you deal with negative people? At the end of the day, no one's coming to knock on my door to buy me food, to pay me rent, to go and say, hey, Mandy, here's like $6,000 I'm going to pay for all your fuel to travel around the country. No one's coming to do that. So whether you do it or you don't do it, I mean, are you willing to let someone hold you back from that? Are you willing to, whether you have babies or you want to travel, like, are you willing to let someone say, I don't think you should do it, hold you back from feeding your kids? Are you willing to let someone say, I don't think you should do that, from doing the thing that sets your soul on fire? I have copped a lot of crap over the years, a lot of crap. My stepdad now finally doesn't talk about the business because I paid him back the 10-something grand that I owed him. My sister now doesn't really say anything, but at the start she watches my stories on Instagram and goes and tells my mum about what I'm doing. I'm like, dude, you're like 40. Come on now. But at the end of the day, like, I don't care. Like, I honestly just don't care. My goals mean so much more to me than anything else, and teaching someone, because I had no hope for so long. I had no hope. And my goal now is to go and fulfill my dreams and then go and teach other people how to do it.
And I wish a lot more moms found that fire before they had kids, because I talk to a lot of moms that cannot dream outside of the short vision of their kids. Guys, if you are a mom, we have these kids for 18 years. That is not a large part of our life. And I get it, it's 18 years, but think about it. I've been alive for 31 years. That is almost double 18, right? And I still have a whole lot of life left. So my kid is going to be born and grow up and leave, and I'm still going to have me and my dreams. And I didn't find dreams a lot before I had my baby. So I started dreaming with this business, and I've actually compared myself to Mandy, and I saw Chelsea actually commented that she did too. My husband and I actually had a conversation about you tonight, Mandy, about moving into your van and traveling. I was like, I'm kind of jealous I didn't find this before I had you or Glory, because I would have loved to do that. But the season of life I'm in now, that is not a smart decision to move my family into a van and travel. So we're all in different seasons of life, and you really have to find what season you're in. And like she said, stop comparing to other people. Find the season that you're in and figure out, okay, what are my dreams and what can I do with this business? Because they are all going to look different, from mom to another mom, or from, you know, single person with no kid to another single person with no kids. Like, none of our dreams look the same. Do you have any input with do you have any days where you have to push through and don't feel like working, or do you have doubt and fear, like any of the questions that were asked, you want to put some input in?
Yeah, my chat's not working. I went to like reply a ton of times. I don't know what's happening. I can't use it. So I was like, yes, but I couldn't. So I was like, oh, wait till she unmutes me. All the time. When I went diamond, this massive wall, like I literally feel like it was the beach. Like this wave crashed down on me, and I was like, who are you? Who are you to make this money? Who are you to be doing this? You know, I came from, well, I didn't have a bad upbringing because my stepdad worked his freaking ass off to give me the life that he did. But I had this just massive wall of fear of like, yeah, just who am I? I'm not qualified to do this. I don't have a degree to do this. I'm not as pretty as all these other girls. I don't have this and I don't have that. And it took me out for a very, very long time. And it hit my paycheck really hard. And what I had to realize was just step into who I am. I'm loud. I don't brush my hair. Okay, I walk around with no shoes on, like whatever. This is just who I am. And it took me so long to realize that I just kind of had to embrace it. And there's someone somewhere along the line that you're going to click with, and they're going to be like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And that's what I try and push out onto my whole social media is you don't have to be like me or be like Joe Blow down the street. You just get to be the best version of yourself. And some days it does take me out. Like I said, personal development's helped me a lot. But this is my life. So yeah, like last night I sat down and watched TV, but I'm very blue, and I think I'm like blue-red. So part of me is like, I can't put down my phone. 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 But I need to, because my partner doesn't live here. I don't have kids. And I'm just waiting for this I feel like all of this universe is about to just blow up in abundance in just a short period of time. So I sat down and watched TV last night for 5 hours and just let myself zone out. So I don't really deal with the whole not wanting to work. It's more, I struggle with shutting down because I feel like I've got all the time in the world and I don't have any kids. So I should be triple diamond, presidential diamond, and I'm not. But what I realized is my story is my story. And so this is telling me that the Zoom's on now.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I don't really struggle with not wanting to work. And the thing is too, is because I do this full time, if I'm having a moment where I'm like, I really don't feel like it, my mindset's not in the right place and I don't want to say the wrong thing to people or whatever, or come across bitchy or whatever, I will put my phone down and pick up a book, or I'll get on Tony Robbins on YouTube, and I'll kind of just work through it. I let myself feel the feelings because for a long time I was like, I can't feel bad. I can't talk about negative things. I can't talk about having bad days. I've got to be this bright, bubbly piece of sunshine all the time. And that's not true because people can't relate to that. And, you know, when you start sharing the moments when it's hard and you're tired and you've been up early and you've been staying up late, that's what people are going to relate to along the way as well.
For sure. I'm going to stop recording this and then take a picture real quick. There we go.